Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my wonderful Dota crowd who has been tuning in here to the semifinal action of BTS Americas 3. We continue the action now as we hop into game number 2. It's Digital Chaos versus Power of Friendship. The winner of this series will move on into the grand final to face the awaiting Team Archon. Should be a doozy. In the meantime, I'm casting the coverage here. This is KotLGuy. I'm going to be joined again by Blaze. Blaze, Digital Chaos take a pretty hungry, hefty, good fight in game number 1. They were able to nerf down the Snake King Ember quite a bit, and Yawar really got everything he needed with that 5th pick anti-mage. Let's see if things change up for game number 2. DC, they'll get their prized grab up at the start, getting the Beastmaster and Undying duo, while Power of Friendship put their first pick into a Vengeful Spirit.
Well, that's very fascinating, and hopefully you will be able to see it firsthand, but unfortunately something with the Dota coordinator made it so that I was staring at the lobby, but the coordinator being down, I am not in the game with you, friend.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to take the time to apologize to everyone in Dota TV. We will not be covering this game in the client. If you want to still hear us, please come out to twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. You can catch us there. So if you're hearing us right now, we are going to be going mute inside the client because I can't have my partner in crime here not be able to see the game along with me. So hold on one second, folks. You're going to be seeing behind-the-scene footage here. It will be, of course, also a slight delay from when the action actually breaks out. And game coordinator, you know, I was saying it even just before the game loaded in. It's been really, really funky, and it looks like Blaze, unfortunately, wasn't properly in at the time. So let me just flip this back to the bracket in the meantime here. We'll go to the Watch tab, and we'll see if we can find it here. Is it already up, or do we need to wait?
It is. It's under Amateur, though.
Ah, yes, BTS series where all the amateurs come to play, like Digital Chaos. So let's go ahead and we'll hop into the coverage right now.
Is such an amateur, you know.
Yeah,
so
these guys are
he
just
doesn't have any international experience.
Win a TI before you're not amateur. All right, that's when you're finally not amateur. Like, see, not too long. We're gonna hop right back in. I would love to listen to myself cast, but I will hit no there. Change this quickly to free camera. Put that there, and all right, away we go. So Blaze, I anticipate they're going to be going with a Beastmaster probably with what's best out there, and maybe followed with something funky. I'm thinking Undying could be okay. Well, there's the Beastmaster. Undying though, yep. All right, I'm off to a good start.
Most definitely, man. That's I mean, those were the bans for the previous series, so just having them slip through alone increases their value in Phase 1, because you expect, okay, if something was worth a Phase 1 ban in the previous game, then they're definitely going to ban it in Phase 2 if you don't pick it up. So they did have to modify the bans to make the draft work, but all in all, it definitely was something that they felt was relevant to pick up. And it's going to speed things up even further, because as soon as Beastmaster hits level 6, he contributes to the game. The Undying can bring even more to just, like, honestly, I think Decay might be one of the best spells at level 1. Like, that just automatically brings so much to the lane, makes it so that the squishier farmers have to play it a lot safer, and it just really reshapes how the lanes play out.
I think it ranks up there with, like, Chilling Touch, also huge level 1 fighting potential there, but I would certainly agree. I expect Digital Chaos to be pumping out their chest right at the beginning of the game now that you have an Undying in your arsenal to work with here. So we'll have to see what Power of Friendship are going to be going back for now. Do they take the Bat Rider, knowing that they already have the Vengeful Spirit on your side, but you do risk the option of Digital Chaos potentially grabbing that Oracle, so you will probably have to cover your base there. But it is something that MJW does play very, very well. So I'm curious where their priorities lie, and what if they want to get like a standard support to lead in with for, or you know, put priority in their early offlane grab. I speak for the team. Nature's Prophet again, actually. So
Radiant team back.
Yeah. Should be pretty interesting. I'm actually having some issues. It kicked me. Now it's invalidating my Steam. I don't know what's going on with the system, but I'll get back in as soon as possible.
Yeah, no problem. Just let me know when you're in. I'll try my best. I could just relay the draft for you as best as possible in the meantime. So Power of Friendship with their second pick, you know, along with their Vengeful Spirit, have picked up the Nature's Prophet. So I guess offers some distance, could help with being able to take down the tomb nice and fast, and of course you have that global presence to work with. Plus, you know, Vengeful Spirit does offer a lot to some pushing potential if they want to build on that even further. DC though, with the next set of bans to be coming out, Gyrocopter is actually going to be removed from their side, and Power of Friendship will take the time to get rid of the Lina here. So Lina goes out, but there is still some other big mid laners in the pool. After also Invoker getting banned, you still have Death Prophet, let's say, as well as something like the OD, if either team does want to kind of, go down that journey.
Definitely. But the bans you were mentioning, though, are really good at clearing out creep waves, so here's the emphasized push, like the Beastmaster with his summons and with his aura, and of course the Nature's Prophet. Those heroes don't like to go up against Gyrocopters and Lina, so it makes a lot of sense that they get taken out pretty early on. Other than that, the Invoker was a first phase ban, right?
The Invoker was a first phase ban, yes. This came after their first initial ban, which was on the Lone Druid, so they got rid of the Invoker, so don't have to worry about that. No pesky alacrity, no more resolution. Invoker gonna
I'm wondering what's the best follow through for Aurora then. If you're gonna be looking for kill opportunities more frequently, I mean, like against Nature's Prophet, you kind of think like Spirit Breaker could be a good 4 position, and he could be involved in that as well. A lot of lockdown that even goes through BKB, but right now it's still kind of on the table. There's obviously so much melee emphasis for Digital Chaos already, so they probably want to, especially if they go for a melee core, they need their supports to be pretty good range, and maybe just go for like a Lion or something that has some AoE but is mostly just focused on bursting people down with the ultimate, and I think that could bring just what they need is just that damage follow through. They've got the lockdown, they've got the decay, which in my mind kind of sets up damage. The Flesh Golem and the decay are two spells that enable damage dealers to do that much more. And that's why I think heroes like Lion are really good. Hell, even a Skywrath Mage could work really well with a Beastmaster.
We'll have to see which of those options could be something for them here. This now ban out on the Night Stalker. Actually, believe it or not, Blaze, I don't know if you're looking at the draft.
I'm there now, man.
A Timbersaw going to be coming out from DC. Wow, just a lot of hate already towards Nature's Prophet, I guess. But, not since, like, EG were really, putting in the mileage on their Timbersaw Sumail play. We don't really get to see her pop up unless it's like, oh, we're going against some hefty, huge tanks, your Bristlebacks, maybe a Tidehunter, any way to like pure damage and burst through it. But why here and now? Have they been playing it in recent games outside of this? I guess just, they hate the tree guy.
5 seconds.
They really hate trees. That's the easiest answer, to be absolutely certain. But it is an interesting hero that kind of brings a lot. Obviously, he's going to be good against Nature's Prophet. The Treants won't do squat to his passive. And then he's going to be able to do so much just doing the quick jumps here. A lot of teams have actually been running Timbersaw more and more in the safe lane as a carry position. Like, I think Team Spirit does this more than most, with Ramses picking it up. Secret has done it a couple times too. So there's a lot of European safe lane Timbersaws, and those come online very quickly. They're able to be mobile, be active, and it's one hero that doesn't give a shit if Nature's Prophet goes for an Aghanims Octarine core build. Like, you can have all the trees in the world, and he'll just keep cutting.
Does put them already with 3 melees here, though I guess Beastmaster has a good zoo to work with around it. But look at this. They're going to be following it up now with some more control, some silence, a great catch, and a stylish kind of hero that I'm sure Resolution will love to flex in the puck right now. This make me already question a bit as far as their late game, and that means it could be another game where Yawar is going to be on your AM/Spectre/Morphling, some sort of like hardcore late gamer.
All right, you're going to love this, man. Timbersaw has never been played by Digital Chaos. They, under this roster, under this banner, have never picked up Timbersaw.
Wow.
So, already raising some eyebrows, asking some questions. Is it going to be Yawar taken to the safe lane? Is Resolution got something he's bringing over from Empire? It's cool. It's different, and I'm very excited to see it. But we are going to be seeing a lineup that will be able to do some pretty good things against it.
Oh, yeah.
Drow, Visage, Furion, Venge. They need a little bit more control. Obviously, they only have like 1 stun right now, but even the Gust is going to do a lot against Timbersaw, and they are going to be hitting hard. The Visage Familiars, unfortunately, against Timbersaw will build his reactive armor up very quickly, but otherwise they're still going to be hitting hard on every other hero, and the Soul Assumption's good against everybody but the Lifestealer now.
All right, so, well. Final ban's coming out. Digital Chaos are going to be ridding of the Viper here, anticipating that they need that big mid lane dominant presence, plus the range factor of a Viper going along with the Drow would have been too scary, so they get rid of that. And Power Friendship kind of off the radar as far as what Digital Chaos are actually planning on doing here. They ban out the what might have been the safe bet for him and just getting rid of a bounty hunter, but it indeed will be the lifestealer as the final grab. So he's got that vehicle with the puck now. Even with a timber saw, he can get in the heat of the action, but does offer the rage potential to get away from any sort of hefty situation. And I guess can come online a bit sooner, can participate, can make fights happen, because it is technically a race against that, drow clock that's put out there. What is it? The magical number, 35 minutes, 30 minutes. You better get the job done, otherwise you probably are going to be going home.
Yeah, most definitely. The stats don't lie in that capacity, but it's going to be pretty interesting that this lifestealer, he's either playing a support or the Beastmaster is. One of these two heroes is going to have to reduce their farm allocation. We have seen lifestealer kind of go like this off lane or even 4-position build-up, where he's just mostly there to get involved with the invest bombs, and then the ancient creeps as well. Ancients are probably pretty good here, but it's still it's odd. Like, it definitely does, like, it's a hero that's very susceptible to physical damage, which Power Friendship have a lot of, and I'm just curious how well he's actually going to be able to stick to the drow. So we do have 1437 here. If he gets inside an ancient, I believe that counts as him canceling marksmanship if he's on top of the drow. So that's something to consider. If drow is a little bit slow at our feet, they can't really kite a big granite golem or something, and that will keep marksmanship off. So that in of itself creates some value, but again, it's still very surprising to see. And Aui's actually swapping for it.
And Slicks is also playing Earthshaker. I don't think we had a chance to look at that. I mean, it's also going to be a bit funky. It looks like from the side of PoF here, putting it to more of that kind of core position. But they also already have, like, of course, the Nature's Prophet for MJW. So this is going to be a fun one, man. Game number 2 about to get underway of the semifinal match of Power of Friendship going against Digital Chaos here. It's going to be the Digital Chaos debut of the Yawar safe lane farming timber saw. So this is going to be quite a doozy here. The grand final awaiting either winner is going to be Team Archon. That grand final match, a lot of people have been asking, it's going to be played tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, for your grand final action for BTS Americas. First place is going to be walking away with $5,000. So a good chunk of money. We'll see what team is going to be able to grab it here, as this unorthodox lineup from both teams here. So now that we have a bit of a pause, we can look it over once more, Blaze. What do you think about the lineup here from Power of Friendship?
Well, I definitely expected something along the lines of the Earthshaker. Like, you used to see drow lineups, and you always would have one melee stunner, whether it's a Spear Breaker, a Centaur in the off lane, something like that. But since NJW seems to be most confident on the Nature's Prophet, they wouldn't really allocate the Nature's Prophet mid, although that is an option because of drow aura bonus damage. They definitely wanted to look for something that just brought more stun. They had, again, only the magic missile, the stun, that's not enough for them to really execute in the fight. So the Earthshaker should be able to do some pretty good work and contribute to the fights in a big way. Of course, Blink on Tombstone or something like that with Echo Slam could do a lot, and in general, he's going to provide some heavy lockdown. He's already starting to actually bully back Resolution, and most people will underrate Earthshaker to 1v1 matchup. While he can't really provide kill pressure without a lot of help, the Enchant Totem is such an amazing last hitting skill. It's only 20 mana, and you guarantee pretty much any last hit you want with that spell.
And as you level up, you can get just, usually a underestimated amount of potential harassing damage could be coming from it too. But you're right, guarantees a lot of early CS, and looks like we are going to be unfortunately dealing with a bit of a hiccup here as Ziz will be disconnecting from the game. I want to go over and touch base here. The jungling lifestealer Aoi. This is a throwback for me. It feels as if, the first time we saw Aoi play that boneless jungle coddle back at, Summit 3, I believe? Summit 3 or 4? But, man, it was something special. Now, if he's able to be uncontested, he's just going to grind out his usual farming patterns here, something I'm sure he practiced a bit. And I'm curious if there's going to be any sort of response from PoF here. Eventually, they'll kind of realize, okay, where's Aoi? What's he doing? He's a lifestealer. He's missing in action here. Is it worth their time to kind of do something about it, Blaze, or should they just kind of use the fact that he's not involved in the laning stage whatsoever to their advantage and just kind of win the lanes?
I mean, maybe you throw a ward out and look for if he's jungling really exposed and he's like really low HP, because oftentimes you will find it, but just to get actually dedicate a hero to hunting him is completely pointless. You just want to pressure the lanes harder. You want to just feel more confident in jumping bottom, something like that. You obviously have put a lot of priority on winning your solo lanes, which mid is definitely possible if Slicks does some really good stuff. He's lacking HP for now, but that's once he gets his bottle, he'll be okay. But what I'm really worried about is this top lane. Nature's Prophet even with the Drought Aura, it's still not going to match up too well here. And you got the boots against Ywar, which won't mean much against just even the level 1 Timber Chain in close quarters engagements here. While people will look at the fact that there hasn't been much from Ywar in terms of his Timbersaw play, it says that he's actually only played it once. He lost that game, and it wasn't even with DC. On the other hand, you've got his little brother, Sumail. He's played quite a bit of the big guy, so I feel like you've got a little bit of back and forth there. Maybe they trade some tips, and maybe
Sumail's probably just in his seat right now playing the hero, and Ywar's
No,
just like, can you just give me the win, please?
All right, yeah. Just hands it over. Just for his ego, though, you have to let him sit at the computer, and then Yuar's got a wireless mouse and keyboard behind him, and he's actually in control, pulling the strings.
Oh, for sure.
Wouldn't notice it at all. But yeah, still, the DC, all jokes aside, have a pretty good lineup here to kind of break into the mid game and hold their tower as well. If the Lifestealer is able to get to his level 6, he's going to be able to contribute, and then from there, it's much better if Resolution has a blink. Resolution doesn't have to have a blink really early, but if he does, that will enable quick jumps. You go blink Waning Rift on a Drow, infest on the Drow, take away all their damage by killing off the Precision Aura, and then kind of go from there. The only thing that I actually see to be a real issue with DC's lineup is they have no way to kill the Familiars. That Puck right-clicking them is going to be extremely unreliable, and I feel like it's going to be easy micro from Way Too Sexy to try to just do whatever he wants with them.
Yeah, I mean, Boars or Necro books maybe down the line if you're a micro god to be able to kind of pay attention to that, but I understand, like, these birds are going to have pretty much free will, and if Way2's going to be able to be the greedier support, which I imagine he can be with Ziz playing the more selfless, vengeful spirit, I'm sure these birds could quickly be accompanied by 3, and the next thing you know, it could be a real bit of ruckus here for DC. But DC have this unique
There will actually be
lineup.
fights. There will be a point in this game where it's actually better for the Drow to not be in the fight at all and just provide Precision Aura, and the birds just go nuts. Because the creeps, as you're mentioning, like the boars and maybe the ranged necro, they do half damage by comparison to heroes. It takes 6 creep attacks to kill a familiar, and it's so easy to stone form and make that not a reality. So I feel like Way 2 gets to have a lot of room to be extremely offensive. Like you think about something that does as much damage as a hard carry when it's got the Precision Aura up, and you've got double the effective HP that you normally would. Yeah, it's going to be insanely powerful. And again, I think that there's going to be times where the Drow Ranger should just not be involved in the fight. When she hits level 11, just gets a couple Agi items, maybe like Yasha, Wraithband, Ring of Aquila, and Treads. Like, that's going to be enough for the birds to just do some serious work. And of course, now with the change, so several patches back, it is only effective when the Precision Aura is active, which is a 30-second duration and a 100-second cooldown. But that's still plenty for the Visage to make the most of it.
Yeah, with proper communication, that shouldn't be too much trouble for them, and hopefully that kind of game plan will lead them forward into kind of getting the game done before it kind of begins to go down the road a bit. But even then, DC with an Owie Lifestealer, their late game also isn't some sort of, crazy hardcore farming potential. So I'm really curious to see what this Owie package is going to be with this Lifestealer. It looks like casual harassment towards the 2-minute rune, as it is going to be gobbled up from Theban here. It's a haste that he'll take on his Undying and shuffle around a bit. Can't help but be a bit curious on how this mid lane match continues to go with the unorthodox Earthshaker versus Puck. It's no surprise to see Puck eventually is going to be etching out ahead. 12 and 5 CS for him. Slicks at 8 and 1. But could it be almost that kind of same matchup in the sense of when we saw Secret put Weeha on the Earth Spirit in the mid lane. Didn't win the CS game, but just got the levels, got into that teamfight potential, and was able to kind of bring it back in the mid game once Magnetize came online.
Yeah, I'd definitely consider that a factor. We're actually going to see Nature's Prophet look for the TP bottom. There's a lot of Grave Chill right clicks coming out. Actually getting a little bit... Is that lag or is that just nothing happening?
I had no idea, but Bulba definitely was taking some free smacks right there for whatever reason.
He dropped his Quelling Blade and picked it back up. I don't know. Weird stuff going on, but Way 2 just poking at him, and does get, of course, with the attack speed bonus and the Drought Aura bonus, he's doing some damage, but not enough for Bulba to be too afraid with the 4 armor and the Stout Shield. But either way, now they're getting the ward killed off, and that's gonna put both of them a little bit closer to their respective level upgrades. The offlane's doing okay here. How 2000 haven't a little bit of trouble in the jungle. But
Whoa.
overall, it's going to be a slow start for DC, but they're going to come out swinging when they get around like level 6 and beyond. And of course, when Resolution gets that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess he was in a situation where he'd been more efficient just to deny himself. He's going to have to take the long trek all the way back and then in unless he plans on even committing the extra bit to go for a TP, which it looks like he will. So, I mean, I don't play a whole lot of this 4-position, jungle rotation farming lifestealer, so I don't know if he's on quota with where he'd like to be or if he's behind. Top lane, a bit of a trade between both here. Very low. MJW, though, gets the Sprout for your war, which obviously he'll be able to quickly cut down. And he might be cut off here. He has no way to eat through the trees and make it back under the tower.
Damn
so
trees!
He is down. XD giggles are had, but the problem is that first blood is going to be picked up from Power of Friendship.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, so you were actually really on point with the fact that you were talking about the efficiency factor of denying yourself the neutral creeps. The only reason not to do that is because it displays to both teams that a hero was denied by a neutral or killed by a neutral. So they would know that Owie would look to maybe make a TP play like he just did on mid, and that would change everything. So by concealing that information, making them think, oh, he's still just a 30% HP lifestealer juggling away, that actually gave him a kill opportunity. That evens the kill score, even though, unfortunately, in the solo matchup, Huar is the one who he gets treed.
Makes sense. So I suppose if we see Owie barely making it alive back to the long walk of tower, then I guess that means that he's planning on making a TP play soon. But here we see a very deep commitment from Way2 right now with his Visage. And while mid lane, they make a jump for Slicks. Going in far right now, Theban stacking up a couple of decays, but eventually not going to be making out. He slips out the back door, and Slicks goes on a chase. He gets on the wrong end of his own fissure, and Theban, who does not have a TP, is just going to take a long way out and even hide himself into a pocket here where Ziz continues to just kind of see if he can find him. In a mini game of hide and seek, it looks like.
Yeah, I actually had forgot something about Lifestealer Jungle. Well, I just hadn't considered it, I suppose, but I know for a fact that when you open Wounds of Creep and you Midas it, you heal off of that. So I actually just now realized that you actually open Wounds heal off of Iron Talon as well. So that makes it, like, at first I was like, oh, well, Feast and Iron Talon are kind of counterintuitive together because you want the HP of the creep to be higher, so you lifesteal harder. But in this case, with the Iron Talon, it actually syncs up with Open Wounds really nicely. So 4-position lifesteal is pretty legit.
And without contention, it definitely gets to have the start you could ask for, and he's beginning to crawl in right now. Not going to be able to get close enough for the Open Wounds, and that opportunity will have to just pass on by. So MJW will be able to step back into a safer position, while mid lane, they make their move for Theban now. They get off a nice fissure, and that will set up the takedown right now. Way2 grabs that, and Power Friendship pull ahead now, 2-1. While bottom, yeah, they got their catch on the Snake King. That's the first coil coming out from Resolution, and will lead the takedown of the Drow Ranger.
So overall, the Drow doesn't really want to go down to this time. She was hoping to get level 6 and maybe start pushing that bottom tier 1. But in the meantime, her teammates are doing some good work in mid, so they're going to distract, and she'll probably just go bottom again anyways and keep doing her farming thing. We'll see here as she responds. But overall, Power Friendships, they do have a quota to meet. They have some towers to slay, and they're just going to do it with the 3-man contribution mid. So, unfortunately, the Undying is still under level, but the Lifestealer is not. He's going to actually get the slam down and set up Resolution for some massive damage.
Oh, man. Visage just decimated right there. And now this freaking Triceratops Thunderhide going to be rolling on through, and it got online pretty damn fast. Power Friendship, they might have to be on high alert and avoid that. The thing gets in your face, and
there's just the problem is there's so many underleveled heroes. You've got a level 4 Venge, a level 3 Visage, and a level 3 Undying. Visage with the 1-2-0 build, which is the right build, has no points in Gravekeepers, and like he just is flypaper to those spell counts. So.
Him and this boar are just, doing work for the full Animal Kingdom here, Blaze, and now they're looking for Ziz, the weakest support of them all. He's going to be forced into the Fairy Fire and continues to be shoved back right now, and then suddenly a wild zombie man appears as he drops down the tombstone. He makes his move. There's the burst, and they're going to be able to take down Vengeful Spirit now as they continue to duck and hide. Snake going to be caught under a tree. He gets swarmed, surrounded, and taken down. Now they look for more. Way2 looks to linger in a corner while MJW finds out Bulba and begins to right-click, and Bulba says, I need help, but he does end up getting dropped. They will get the redemption there, taking him down, and finally they've maybe consider that they are way under this tower, but they're not done, man. They move right back for way 2, and they'll get it with the help of the orb coming out from Resolution. They take down 3. Slick steps in, Enchant Totem not going to be connecting as Owie will be able to shrug it up with the rage, and boom! They get off the Echo Slam to secure the kill on for Resolution, but dominance certainly has been shown from DC. Power Friendship, though, are going to be able to string together a couple of redemption kills, but DC just really flexing right now.
And you taking down the Beastmaster as well as the puck is nice, but it doesn't make up for what they lost in exchange. And we're going to just see DC start coming online in a big way. I mean, already, Owie's just done so much work. He gets himself another Ancient Thunderhide Lizard, which is just so high potential at this stage in the game. It's moving pretty quick with his current movement speed. He's got the Vlads to enhance its damage up to nearly 100.
Oh, they made their move on Bulba in the bottom lane, a global TP in, and after a setup from a Fisher is going to lead to the pickoff of the Beastmaster here. He did buy out, though, so he has the early components towards his Necro book, it looks like, but still will be able to hold on to the Primal Roar. Could be something they wait for. He's got 10 more seconds, and then could look to TP into the action, but they're looking to get it started first. Resolution leads in with a nice Dream Coil, follow-up Tombstone, and now they make their move. Yawar sets the stage with a nice little chakram, and they're going to be able to get the kill on the Slicks, but a hasty retreat will allow little MJW to make it away from any other trouble.
So he's just kind of bouncing in and out here. He's got both teleports on cooldown for the moment, but we're actually going to see a little bit of quiet time for the Visage, which is, again, really important. I will say the Visage's farm is equally important to the Drow Rangers, and that sounds ridiculous, but again, the Drow is really easy to kill in this game, and the Visage Familiars are not. So I feel like you could definitely build them up in a big way, going for like the Medallion, then the Axe, and the Solar Crest, and Way 2 could be a dominant force in this game. But in the meantime, Drow just treads, double Wraith Band, it looks like a Helmet Dominator, and then she probably has to go for, I would say a BKB, but I'm not even sure if that'll do enough.
I mean, I guess she's just building into what damage she can in the meantime in hopes that they can just get themselves back into the economy game by bringing down these towers fast. Any sort of window of opportunity to get a quick push, they could do it in a very small window, but it's being able to find those opportunities. But I would imagine them avoiding DC when possible.
Yeah, she's just going for the Agi build. She went for the Morbid Mass just to be able to jungle, but otherwise it is just a straight Agi build, like I said. I didn't even go for the Ring of Kila. Does anybody else pick up a ring here? Nobody's going for the Ring of Basilius, but anyways, she will have the Yasha as her next pickup.
Radiant's middle
they begin to go to work on this tier 2. Glyph will be popped. DC not looking to respond to it. They're taking their own business towards the mid lane. We have Owie the Dinosaur going to be helping out, poking it at the back. And they will have the full company here to be able to finish it off. Top tier 2 will be going the way of Power of Friendship. We swing our way towards the net worth, and where it really does match up, it looks like DC are going to be up just about 2k gold of net worth here. Not the biggest difference right now. XP only a bit more their way. But DC certainly the better team in a team fight at the moment, and we have to wait for Power Friendship to continue to get those items that you were talking about, especially on like your Way 2 here, getting the access to the birds. And what did he decide to go for? It is the Medallion. So Medallion is going to be en route. Roche options do open up for them, but DC are not going to make it easy for them to get it.
Yeah, you pretty much have to go the Medallion, then you can consider maybe Treads or something, but after that is the question. Some people prefer the Solar Crest Rush. The item's a little bit worse for wear in this patch, but still people like it. I always like the Medallion, then the Ags, and then back for the Solar Crest. It's still a great item, but not as high a priority as getting the next set of birds out, so... for now, he's just sitting on level 6. He wants to get some kills now. This is the time where he's able to build up his level pool a lot, get the max soul assumption, and work towards his next rank at some familiars. This is, again, a very critical hero to get online if they're going to be able to pull this one through. And again, they want to keep the pressure rolling as well. Oh, smoke broken by Lifestealer, though. Nice.
And they're just going to be walking away here. Owie gets his next Ancient Creep, which goes into a Granite Golem, and after the Golem beats his own family to death, now we're going to be going into a special delivery, trying to make his move for Way 2. Way 2, though, gets off the TP, and they're not going to be able to stop it. Jump in from Slick's Echo. Not going to be enough to get the catch on Resolution. He sidesteps the other way and sets up now a coil onto the 2. Swap back stun. Ziz is trying to get himself away from the trouble, but they are going to be bringing him down one by one. 3 going to get dropped, and that will be the end of the fight. DC lose nobody when the dust does settle. Their lead continues to enhance, and it looks like they're going to be using this momentum and possibly moving into the Roche pit.
Yeah, I mean, a good Echo Slam there, but the rest of their sources of damage were was elsewhere. The Drow Ranger was in the enemy jungle, and the Familiars were pushing mid. So
Radiant's
without the
bottom
Familiars
tower
or
is
the
under
Drow,
attack.
there's actually no way to get the kills they need. Even 1437 ends up surviving, and they go right into the pit. So forcing up the slam on cooldown, but otherwise taking this down at a very quick pace. And Necker 1 already up for Bulba, so they're going to be starting to push things. They're definitely going to use this Aegis to get some map control themselves. They're probably looking for at least one tier 2 tower within the next 5 minutes.
Life can never be
Snaking in the meantime, just making use of the farm where he knows it's safest up on the DC side of the map. And looking to play a bit of catch up here, but if they're the team who are being pressured at this point, Blaze, then something has gone terribly wrong. I mean, I know we've been in the front row seat to see it all be unfolded to this point, but you know, it's obvious just with the game plan here, they need to keep trying to find their way to move on forward, because with the commitment to a Drow lineup, their high ground isn't going to be the best thing ever. Thankfully, though, they have that Earthshaker as an insurance policy. Slicks has his Blink Dagger, so they always have the Blink Echo on their side, but if that ever goes down, or if it's a swing and a miss here, you know, DC are going to be able to be in firm control of kind of moving forward.
One problem I have with that, though, is that Blink Dagger on Earthshaker is much better as a counter initiation tool, and I feel like if DC are getting the initiation in the first place, then the PoF are already at a disadvantage in the team fight. Because already, like, there's so much damage to the quick burst. The very first jump, when there's the Infest Bomb, or there's a Roar and the Timber Stall, like, there's just so much happening in the first couple of seconds. If DC have the fight planned, they're prepped for it, they're in position for it, and they make their go. It just... I feel like the Blink Dagger has to be used just more to get the quick Fisher out than anything else. The Echo is great, but it's the higher priority is just preventing the initiation from blowing everything up.
Well, if their Drow lineup went as a success as I'm sure they were hoping for, he would never have to worry about high ground or defense whatsoever, but they actually are going to be potentially making their catch here for Bulba. They got the silence, they got the damage, and they'll get that kill. But Resolution and Owie look to engage as a response, and they're going to get the heftier bounty in taking down the Slicks Earthshaker. He does have Echo still in reserve, but it will be a one-for-one trade, it looks like, in the meantime.
I am going to be keeping tabs on this Drow Ranger for when she actually chooses to use the Aura, because I feel like that's the only time that they're going to be able to make a turn, make a real kill happen. That's just so important for them to be able to get all the big right clicks out, of course, but mostly the Familiars. The reason I keep on... There's a lot of people that don't understand how strong Drow Visage is because they haven't seen it recently. This patch has been pretty quiet about it. Oh, nice swap on mid. That's an easy kill. And even a free tombstone, so they might be able to do something with that cooldown. 200 gold to Ziz. But the reason I'm hyping this up is because Familiars just scale so well with the bonus damage. They actually have a attack speed of 0.4 seconds per attack, which means attack damage can be multiplied about 2.5 times over. They're attacking extremely quickly, and they can just punch through the low armor heroes. Even the Lifestealer is vulnerable outside his Ancient Creep. So it's definitely going to come down to just how they make the use of this. If there is a way for Power Friendships to take this game and force a Game 3, it's going to be through the Familiars doing their most.
And also the fact that you're a big Visage fanboy, Blaze, let's not forget.
Dude, okay.
You're a guy who plays Visage in pubs, all right? I mean, I know it exists and people do love it. It's like kids who love homework. I'm sorry, Blaze.
Oh, come on.
I have a lot of respect for those heroes. I always drool when I watch someone like Lil pick up the hero and stuff like that. So don't get me wrong, but it is funny and it's good because it's a trait we don't get to see very often. And there's not a lot of people out there who can kind of put the extra footnote forward about Visage and what he's really all about. So it's always valuable intel, but it is funny not to get the opportunity to hear it a whole lot. But Yawar has recently been able to pick up his Bloodstone now, so he's got that extra farming acceleration. Reduced cooldown, I guess, is always nice, but let's see where he can bring in some charges.
Radiant's bottom
That's
tower
going to be the
is under
key thing
attack.
here. He's got... I think he still needs Arcane Boots before he's really confident to go for sustained fights, but Bloodstone's still very nice. And he's got his team with him. That's the important thing, is they're just able to put the Granite Golem on the front line. Like, he's got the Vladimir's Aura, the Swiftness Aura from the drums. What are you going to do to this guy? Just Aura Lifestealer is the best Lifestealer. And this was the 5th pick. Just throwing it on Owie here, saying, okay, we could jungle with this, and yeah, we'll make the most of it. We can still do a lot of work. The Rage right now trumps everything but the physical damage output. And of course, you don't want to be just gunning down a Lifestealer. Like, that's not the plan for Power Friendship. There are so many higher priority heroes to bring down.
And we'll see what they could do now. They have smoked up and begun to head north, right through DC Woods. And
Radiant's bottom tower is
it looks
under
like it
attack.
will lead to potentially a push in the high ground here. The problem for them is look who's creeping him from behind. It's a certain Granite Golem here. And as he
The
trucks
smoke
on
breaker.
in, Resolution with the Blink Dagger waiting behind him. They're just getting away, but they can't make it out. Nice coil going to be set up from Resolution here. There's the burst. The Infest Bomb going to be popping out, and they got it. The kill's going to be on way to Ziz, though, creates a space with a swap back save. Snake's able to get off the gust here, but
He doesn't have a TP.
he can't make it away without a TP. He will be certainly dead, and he is down and out. 45 seconds, committed his money in, so no buyback for him. Obviously not going to imagine he's going to be forced to use it. MJW trying his best to split the pressure at top, while bottom Ziz goes to work, but a nice, successful roam in from DC. This was Power of Friendship who had smoked into that position on trying to make a play happen, and
Radiant's
instead
top
they're the
tower
ones who
is
end up
under
losing.
attack.
Yeah, and the birds were just
Radiant
pushing. They were not
structures are
involved in the fight at
fortified.
all. Even though the smoke planned out, they just wanted like a quick pick in the jungle, and then maybe they could do something. Tier 2 mid
Radiant's
seemed
top
pretty
tower has fallen.
plausible at that point in time, but only if they get a kill. And instead, they're the ones that get just found out. That Lifestealer, Ancient, breaking smoke, and then you not being able to turn against it just is so brutal. Like most heroes, you walk in, and if they can't blink out immediately, then at least you get to kill them when they walk around the corner and break your smoke. But with the outer shell, the Lifestealer just has this backup, this
Dire's
guarantee
bottom
that
tower
there's
is under attack.
nothing to bring him down, and so
Dire's
he just gets to kind of do
structures
his own
are
thing. He'll
fortified.
probably look to save this ancient black dragon and become, I don't know, a Dragon Knight incarnate.
Here we go. Let's see if we could do this big, doofy-looking dragon right now with the power of that fireball.
Dire's
We'll
bottom
begin by
tower
just
has
kind of
been
working on the
denied.
tower a little bit here, but he alone is able to kind of cause a bit of a ruckus here for Power and Friendship in the mid lane, while the rest of his team can kind of go back to work, building up their next set of items here. Bulba, after already completing out a bit of his book, could round it out to its level 3, and then, you know, if he decides to build in some initiation, a blink, or something thereafter, that's certainly going to be in order here. Resolution, he's already got his Yules and blink set underway, with still nearly 1,500 gold to work with, so DC have time on their side, and are going to be able to, using this bit of time, to get a nice D ward. So the defensive vision, in a bit of trouble. Snaking has been spotted here. Resolution moves in, gets off another coil setup. This time he will have a TP, but he's not going to be making it out. They got the Yule, so he will eventually be taken apart. Resolution now dominating here for Digital Chaos. And as they quickly look to make a retreat, it looks like DC are not going to let them make it too far.
they get the
Boom! They
message
get the
too.
kill right at the end. Yawar steps in and puts Yawar to,
And,
or
like,
puts Way 2 to bed.
He's not even.
Man.
He wasn't even trying to save his birds. Like they had like 1,000 zombies on them, and it just feels like they are checked out of this game a little bit mentally. They're still fighting it. Nation Prophet's got the Aghanims, and he's going to keep trying to push. But again, the Timbersaw is a great hero to
Radiant's
deal with
middle
this.
tower is
As
under
Timbersaw
attack.
just gets more mana regen, he can just keep on burning through these creep waves and getting his own free gold. So there's no trouble there. And in general, just
Radiant's
Power Friendship
middle
lack team
tower
fight in this
has
draft.
fallen.
They have the Earthshaker, he can do a lot, but again, much better at counter-initiating than initiating, and DC just always get the jump. They always do so much in the first few seconds, and even the best Earthshaker performance wouldn't be enough at this particular moment. But I don't know, like going back to the draft, it felt like they actually did want to go for this Drow Visage lineup pretty early because they banned out Gyrocopter phase 2, and while he's good for counter-pushing, he's also really good against Visage. But Snaking, in some trouble, Manta might help, but not much.
Okay, well, he gets swapped back. Doesn't need to use the Manta quite yet. Slicks, though, is going to be isolated here as Owie makes his move for him. We'll be able to get that kill now. Mega kill streak for him, and Yawar gets a good follow-up, finishing off Slicks. Slicks going to be out, has a buyback here. You don't want to be having to use it now, though, and Yawar quickly gets another double kill,
There
and
it
that's
is.
going to be game. We are all done here. DC take a convincing 2-0 series here against Power of Friendship and have just secured their spot into the BTS America's Grand Final.
Both teams got to show something new. Obviously, the Power of Friendship Draw Visage isn't something that they run very frequently, but the Digital Chaos, like going for this last pick, Jungle Lifestealer for Alley 2000 is something that we're going to be maybe seeing more of in the North American scene, or just in general, because if it's played right, if it's done successfully, it shows what it can accomplish. Like, what you have this big giant creep just walking all over you, nothing to stop it. It's so frustrating to deal with. And
while Lifestealer in a carry position has often fallen flat because he can't continue to farm while he's doing these infest plays. It doesn't really matter to a 3 or 4 position, so I would not be surprised to see a lot more Lifestealer going into like the Shanghai Major and just in the general for the remainder of this patch, because right now, while there are weaknesses to it, obviously like the laning phase was still pretty clean for Power Friendship because the Lifestealer didn't contribute but one gank. I still feel like the Lifestealer brings a lot to like the 12 to 22, 25 minute mark where he's doing the most work with this Ancient, and that's the timing window where Digital Chaos are reign victorious and where Power Friendships fall flat. So kind of maybe back to the drawing board a little bit with the draft and trying to find a new way to make it work.
And that will do it for today. We only have the one best of 3 semifinal matchup for you, but that only leaves one match left here for BTS Americas 3, and that is, of course, the grand final matchup with Digital Chaos now securing this victory. They will be facing off against Archon. That's going to be happening tomorrow at the same time, which is going to be 3 p.m. Pacific in the States, which is what I believe midnight for anyone of our European audience out there. So hopefully you can figure out the time zones. I'll do my best to keep everything posted up on my Twitter, which you can catch at KotLGuy, of course. And of course, if you want to be showing some love to my fantastic co-caster who has helped me a lot all along the way, hit up Blaze on his Twitter at BlazeCasting, on his Twitch at twitch.tv/BlazeCasting. It's been fantastic as always, Blaze. I'll be in touch with you more soon. For everyone else, we'll let you go. You can catch the VODs over on the Beyond the Summit YouTube channel. But that is a wrap. We will see you tomorrow for the grand finals of BTS Americas 3.